Alright, now we're going to begin with painting all the red parts using number 75 metallic red. Now I'll wait until the parts are all dried out from the black, and we're going to begin just doing a little light pass. You can definitely tell the metallic showing with the black as a base. Now right now I just did one pass. I'm going to wait until it dries before I give it a secondary pass. I want to keep it uniform and neat. Let's begin with this guy right here, the knee, or the part of the armor, or the leg. Yeah, the knee. Interesting contrast, but this is not the final result. There's the thruster here. I'm going to get it to the edges there. That's good. Let's see how that's good enough. Alright. Looks alright. Let's do the infamous V-fins. Oops. You know, if this had a white or obviously a gray base color for the primer, this would be a lot lighter, but I kind of like this darker metallic shade. Maybe you want to try an experiment on this, because I have a lot of metallic red, and for those of you who don't know, this was the color that I was going to actually use on my Hulk Ballbuster, but I wanted to see how well it is with a different primer base. Well, I should do it a darker primer base and a lighter primer base mixed, or just do all dark or do all light. So this is actually a good way of testing out and seeing how it performs. That came out nice. Alright, so let's do this big boy right here. Plus the fact that if this was a gloss base and not almost a near flat base, we will probably see some better reflectiveness with this type of paint. This is not Eloclad, by the way, and if it was, I would have gotten an interesting result out of it. But you can't knock Mr. The Gundam. I'm sorry, Mr. Hobby Colors, the Gunzo colors. The light doesn't do it justice. I'll definitely give it another pass. So. Let's do this guy over here. Let me try something a little bit more manageable. There we go. We'll do just one pass, leave it alone, then we'll give it another pass, leave it alone. Alright, I'm about very little bit of paint in this reservoir. So I'm just going to paint this leg right now, and I'm going to now begin refilling out the reservoir again with new paint to finish up the remaining parts. Give it about roughly maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours you could say, of drying time. And then once it's dry, I'm going to give it a second pass and see how it looks. I'm actually painted this like this, not bent, but eventually I'm going to bend it so that way I can paint the remaining areas. Part of me is liking this red color, but the other part is telling me why, maybe it's a little too dark. So I'm now contemplating whether I should do a heavier paint base on. a heavier paint spray on it, just to lighten it up a bit. But you got to remember, this is going to contrast with the white, with the pearl white. So I'll have to feel this out. So until this dries, I'll bend it, and then I will move on to the next color. Which will be the white. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next color, which is the Diamond Silver, Mr. Crystal color. I've used this before, and I'm trying to figure out which kit I was, and I think I used it on the Renaissance, so I am looking at it. And I remembered something about this paint. First thing, this thing is a syrup. As you can see there, this thing is very syrupy. I was going to pour a little bit of thinner inside to this, but what I did was, and unfortunately I did it already, but I'll explain. I poured thinner up to maybe here. Then using the spatula end of my stirrer, I collected as much as I can. This thing was stuck to it like glue, you could say. and then I just put it in here, and I began to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until it began to dislodge itself from the spatula. Then I poured a little bit more, not over, you know, putting too much. Now I'm just going to do a mix. Not too much, but it is. This is actually a good mix right there. To me, a bad mix where if it keeps on bubbling up all the way to the top and just stops, and the bubble is still there, that means it's still too not thin enough. But looks like it's okay. Just gonna give it a blast just to. All right. So now let's try some of these parts that I have put to the side. It's so shiny that, I don't know, you have to like bend it like this just to see the reflectiveness, but you could see the diamond, you know, you see the sparklies you could see here. But I just realized something, and by the way, I didn't finish this up, so I gotta try to finish it up right now. I should have gotten white primer, or applied white paint over this, because right now, even though this is grayish, to apply this diamond color, it's giving it like a grayish base background. It still looks good though. It's not bad, but it was not what I expected. See that? But it's something that I like. Sometimes I have to make a note of this next time and make sure that if I ever gonna use this paint again, white base. The paint, not the model. So I may have to look into investing in getting white primer. There's something else that I need to talk about. Alright, so that's okay. Well, going back to this. You know that this part here, where you have this little hole there? Now, I was originally going to mask this part off so I can paint it the neon green in it, so I can put the clear part over it. Then I was just like mapping it out in my head, and I said that is the most uncomfortablest thing to do for me, to use masking tape and paint that, cover the whole area just so you can get nice and, circly thing, get it around the pattern or the hole that it is in. And then painted neon green, which of course the neon green has the same consistency as that paint. So hopefully not to pull it up, and it's going to be a little tougher for me to paint that because it when you get like the part where it has a, how can I say this, like, alright, so you see how this has a wedge inside or like a spacing inside? If I spray it, the spray will spray back at you. It flexes back. That's going to be the same thing with that little hole there. So I'm saying to myself, well, wait a minute, instead of me painting the hole, why not paint the back part of the clear part? Didn't see that, or didn't think about that. So I'm going to try that, obviously once I'm done with all these parts, and then we'll try it, see how it works. Alright, that's nice. That is very nice. Put that back here. Part of the head. I'm going to give it a second pass just in case, touch the... There we go. Zoom in. Zoom in. There you go. Ah, lost the zoom. Alright, never mind. Let's do this part, this little part. Good. And then this part here. Yep, that's good enough. Let me just... Alright. And let's do this guy. Next. Good. Very good. I like that. Later on, of course, once we're all done, we'll spread it out on the table and we'll review each and every part. So let me just continue on. I got more parts to the side, and then we'll move on to the next part.